Hey everyone, it's Rye, and this one is, I guess, kind of a companion piece to the video that I've put up today, which is part one of, and let me make sure I'm getting this game's title right, Nihilumbra? Nihilumbra. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. It's a really delightful little game, and man, I say this pretty much about all games like this, but I love that art style. Maybe because, and I could be wrong, but it seems hand-drawn. And it's just, it really adds to the feel of the game. And the reason that I wanted to talk specifically about that one was some of the themes that have been popping up in it. I did a lot of recording today. You're going to be seeing part one either, I'm not sure if I'm uploading this one before or after. It's hard to tell when I haven't done this yet. This is pre-post, so forgive me for that. But it's some of the ideas and questions that the game raises. I mean, at its core, it's about this little tiny aspect of the void. And I don't know if your character has a name, but you left this shadowy realm to go out into the real world and kind of become your own individual entity, I guess. And as you go to different levels, you collect different colors, which give you different abilities to platform and traverse the area. But with each level you go through, the darkness finds you, it wants you back, and it ends up destroying the place that you're in, so you got to keep jumping to new ones. So it's a very sad tale, and I'm not sure exactly how it's going to end at this point, because I haven't finished the game yet. I think I'm maybe halfway right now. But it was some of the questions that the narrator will bring up as you're going through. In particular, it was kind of bundled into this one scene where the question is raised, you're going to die. It's going to happen. You can't stop it. What's the point of doing everything from day to day? Why don't you just give up now? Because it's just going to end badly. And that was an interesting idea because it, in the context of the game, it's saying you're doing all this work. You're struggling constantly to keep the darkness from overtaking you. You keep learning new things about the world you're in, about your place in it, what you have to offer. The colors make you realize different aspects of life and how you fit into it. And they give you the ability to do new things and to become a more developed being as you continue on your journey. But there's that knowledge that no matter where you go, no matter what you do, and no matter how much you accomplish, eventually this looming darkness is going to catch you. It's going to overtake you, and there is nothing you can do to prevent it. You can outrun it. You can avoid it. But eventually it is going to get you. You're either going to make a mistake and trip and fall and it'll overtake you, or because as you go throughout the game, you go from say a mountain level to a forest level to a desert level. And I think the one I left off at was a volcano kind of environment. But with each one you go to, you gain a new ability. You use it in different creative ways to deal with both environmental hazards and enemies, and a combination of both. But the darkness always shows up, and it always takes away that place from you, and you have to go somewhere else. So there's this idea there where no matter what you do, you can't run forever. Like I say, you're either going to trip up and the darkness is going to get you, or you're going to run out of places to hide, you'll have nowhere to go, and it'll get you. The theme seems to be that no matter what you do, it's going to happen. You can't stop it. And jokingly in the Let's Play, I said, I really don't like how this game's making me look inwards at myself. I'm here to have fun and be taken away on this whimsical journey of this little shadowy kid escaping the dark realm and trying to become something bigger than himself. But I also realize that is probably the point of the game, which I find really interesting. And again, why I think some video games are so awesome by doing that to you. It's okay, we're going to take you on this interesting little journey that you can, sort of some escapism. You can jump into this world that isn't reality and have some fun doing things that you could never do in the real world. But we're not going to let you off the hook that easy. We're also going to make you take a hard look at yourself, at ideas, maybe some philosophies, and maybe do some soul-searching introspection along the way. But at the same time, we're going to have to, do some platforming because the monsters will try to eat you. And it was something I wasn't expecting from the game. Again, I went in just going like, wow, I really like the art style. Platforming, well, that's not really my jam, but all right, I'll give it a shot. This looks kind of cool. And then started throwing these ideas at me that I wasn't expecting to consider. Not to say that I don't think about that anyway, but when I'm playing something for entertainment and it starts hitting me with that, it's never something I go in anticipating, which is nice because then you get a very genuine reaction and a very spontaneous moment of thought. And applying those same themes to real life is an interesting exercise regardless of the game. But in the context of it, it makes a lot of sense. You can apply the same kind of idea of this little shadowy guy running from this impending doom and doing everything he can along the way to leave his mark on the world, grow and become a more fulfilled entity as what every single person on the planet goes throughout their life, for however long and short it is. Eventually, because you never come into the world knowing you're going to die. Eventually, at some point along the way in your life, you come to the realization, or rather the understanding, that you're on the clock, that at some point, everything that you have is going to be gone, including yourself, and you can't stop it. You don't know when it's going to happen. The only thing you know for certain is that it will. It's chasing you, and you don't know when it's going to overtake your world and wipe it out. So along the way, you're doing everything you can to hold it back, avoid it, stop it if you can, even though in the back of your head you know that's not possible. So what can you do in light of that? Knowing that this impending darkness is eventually going to swallow you up, what do? You go through the world and you try to find things that make your life more colorful, more vibrant, more fulfilled. And through that, it creates the mark that you leave behind when you're no longer around. You try to do everything possible to grow so that by the time this darkness does overtake you and you're no longer here, what you've done in the wake of that journey leaves an imprint for who you are. And maybe this is getting a little bit too deep into the idea of what this game represents. But, and I mean, again, this is my opinion. This may not be what the creators of the game intended at all, but I really feel like that is the message at the core of it. Or at the very least, it's the one that I'm taking away that, you know what? Again, I haven't finished the game yet. I feel like at the end of this journey, the darkness is going to overtake this little guy. Sad as it is. But I think his journey and how he's grown by the time that happens is going to have a lasting effect and impact. Maybe not necessarily on the world that he escaped to, although that could be, but I think how much he's changed in relation to how he was when he first got out of that shadowy world is going to change the darkness itself, which is an interesting idea. But suffice to say, I'm impressed not only with the artistic nature of the game, but the simplicity of the platforming that allows you to appreciate this narrative that they're throwing at you as you traverse each level. And if this little episode here is any indication, it really made me have some deep thoughts and introspective looks at myself, because there is that theme throughout the game that you're doing all of this and ultimately it's going to get you. So what's the point? Why are you bothering? Everything you do will mean nothing because in the end, this giant, imposing, impossible to defeat thing is going to catch you. And then it's all over. And then it's all for nothing. So what's the point? And I think, and you should be looking at it in a positive way, is that you don't know that it's not going, you don't know that it won't mean anything. When you're gone, I mean, your part in it is over, but what you've left behind could mean something for those who come afterwards. And also that doing something, even if in the grand scheme of things is, I don't know any other way to say this, but ultimately futile, it's still better than doing nothing at all. Because if you do nothing, you know that's exactly what you're going to get. Nothing. But if you do something, there's the potential, however tiny and minute, that something new will come out of your effort, even if ultimately, when all the chips are down and your time's up, that effort ends in failure. It's an interesting idea, something to think about, and if nothing else, a great reason for you to pick up Nihilumbra and play the game for yourself, because it's a lot of fun. Anyway, I think I've rambled on enough. So, hope you guys enjoyed this. And as always, if you have any thoughts you'd like to share, by all means, fire them off in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you think on this idea. Anyways, until next time, my name's Rye. You guys take care of yourselves.